Hi, this is my voice for those of you who don't know, and the Owl House Season 2 just ended a few weeks ago as of recording this, so that means everybody is already creating their, Season 2 wrap-up videos, as well as their what's going to happen in Owl House Season 3. So I'm going to jump on the trend a little bit here, a little bit earlier than most people. And for those of you who don't know, the Season 3 of the Owl House will only be 3, 45-minute specials, which, one side of me is a little sad that we don't get a full Season 3, but the other side of me is yay, we get 3 45-minute specials, which is great. And to me, it's basically the equivalent of, for any Amphibia fans, the finale-ish kind of thing, the all-in special. To me, I'm expecting kind of 3 of those, like a beginning, middle, and end kind of one. So I'm looking forward to that. And now on to the part that you really care about, though. My predictions for Season 3, but before we get into that, a quick little notice before we start is that none of these predictions are going to blow your mind. These are all pretty basic level predictions that anybody could really make if they watched the show for long enough, or even paid attention to subtle hints throughout the series. Also, spoiler warning for the Season 2 finale, King's Tide. So just like its sister show, Amphibia, the Owl House Season 2 ended with the main characters in quotation marks. Technically there's no Eda, there's no King, which, if you think about it, are the 3 main characters because they get the most screen time. But Amity, Willow, Gus, Hunter, and Luz are on Earth. So that's basically the main characters. And they all ended up on Earth, similar to what happened in Amphibia. So the first prediction is going to be that the first special, so what I'm envisioning, the beginning, middle, and end, the beginning is going to be very similar to what the new normal was for Amphibia, which was the season premiere for Season 3. Where it's kind of Luz reuniting with her mom, reuniting with some of the people of Earth, kind of seeing how it's changed and she's gone, kind of hiding the witches from the government and stuff. I think it's going to be similar to that. So we can probably expect to see them building a portal to get back home. This would of course mirror the fact that she was trying to get back to the human world the whole time, throughout kind of the end of Season 1 as well as the entirety of Season 2 up to this point. It's been Luz trying to build a portal to get back home. And so it's just going to mirror that with them trying to get back to the Boiling Isles now from Earth. So it's going to be kind of a switcheroo of what they did in Season 2. And as well, it's going to be a little harder to make the portal since there's no king. Obviously, if there was king on Earth, there would be Titan's blood because, spoiler, King is a Titan, as we saw in the episode where he went to the Titan Trapper place. I think it's 17 was the episode number. I don't remember the name. I think I have it written in the script here. But, yeah, so it's going to be a little more creative in how you build a portal. Obviously, there's no Titan blood, so we're going to have to figure out a new method to build a portal. I also think that she's going to hide the fact that she's building a portal from her mom, because she promised in, I think it was yesterday's lie, that she would stay there. But as we saw in Follies at the Coven Day Parade, she kind of interpreted it differently than it was said in yesterday's lie. Because in yesterday's lie, I have it written down here, the quote was, "When you come home, promise you'll stay here. I didn't mean to push you away. I promise things will be different." So that's what it was in yesterday's lie. While in Follies at the Coven Day Parade, Luz interpreted it as, "Promise me when you come home, you'll stay with me and never go back to that place." Which to me is kind of foreshadowing for Season 3, where Luz thinks that her mother's not going to let her go back, when in reality her mother was more "Promise me when you're done with all this, you'll stay with me," compared to what Luz sees, which is, "Promise when you come near me, I won't let you go back to that place ever again." So I think that's a little bit of foreshadowing that they did, as well as kind of seeing their different views on the topic. Then in Episode 1, I feel we're also going to see Luz kind of reunite with the Earth people. Probably they're going to meet up with those kids from camp from yesterday's lie, as well as probably that witch hunter guy that both V and Luz encountered in yesterday's lie. A lot of yesterday's lie coming in right now. But that also brings me to another prediction, which is that I think V is going to get a lot of screen time. Because up to this point, she's obviously had yesterday's lie, and I believe a little cameo appearance in Reaching Out at the end scene. So I feel that she's going to have a lot to play, and because obviously the 4 kids that came with Luz are magic, and the only other magic being on Earth as far as we know is V. As well as that she'll probably have a big part in building the portal, because once again she's magic, and maybe she's been there, maybe she's learned something at camp that could help her build a portal back to the Boiling Isles, who knows. And also, because we're in Connecticut, which is a very historical town, and it's where I live. There's going to be a lot of like statues and stuff, as we saw the one of Philip and Caleb. I'm pretty sure it was confirmed to be. I'm not sure if that's 100%, but that's what I'm going to go with. Basically, 2 brothers. And I think that we're going to get a lot of backstory on them. I feel like we're going to get kind of like what it was like when they were little, what it was like during the Salem witch trials, which is when they were transported to the Boiling Isles and why they don't like witches. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Maybe if it's just like a little flashback that we're going to get of Philip's and Caleb's past, but I'm pretty sure that's going to happen this season. So the final Earth-related kind of theory, which will probably be episode 1 and part of episode 2, if I'm guessing, before they go back to the Boiling Isles and stop the Collector and whatnot, is because Goobelos, I'm not sure what to call it, like when Collector smashed him against the wall, he turned into that goop. We saw that he got to Earth. One was when it kind of slowed down on Hunter's shoulder as he was like walking over it. It kind of slow panned as the goo fell down on his shoulder, which at first I thought was like kind of like a symbolism, as in like he's walking through, you know, his problems and the one that made him miserable or whatever. But it could be the fact that he's escaping through Hunter, kind of like Venom. But at the end of the season, or not the end of the season, well, yeah, I guess at the end of the season, during the credit scene, we could see that he closed the door at the very end. It was the goo falling on the door handle that closed it, which is showing that he probably isn't part of Hunter, but he definitely made it to Earth. Well, I could see evidence going both ways. I do think that it was going to be something related to Hunter, whether it's like Bellows completely taking over Hunter's like control, or just like giving him little hints in the mind as to what to do. I feel like it's going to end like maybe in episode 2 or even episode 3 of season 3. It's going to be like in-head battle versus Hunter and Bellows. I feel like that's something that we need, is kind of like Hunter and Bellows having a battle. And I think that because of the goo falling on his shoulder, I think it's going to be an in-head kind of thing, as well as that would be great foreshadowing from the episode Hollow Mind, where Hunter was in Bellows' mind. So that would just be great foreshadowing on their part. But I honestly think that the final showdown with Bellows is going to be Hunter versus Bellows, which will probably honestly happen inside of his head based on the goo scene. Now on to the other part of the video in terms of predictions, and that is the predictions for what's going to happen in the Boiling Isles as a result of the draining spell, which I'm dropping spoilers all over the place. So you probably should have taken that spoiler warning to heart if you didn't want to get spoiled to this point. And first of all, what I think is going to happen is that since it's the kids show, you know, it's a Disney show, ages 6 to 11, which is why they canceled the Owl House in the first place, which is kind of dumb. But I'm not going to get into that right now anyway. I don't think they're just going to allow this massacre of the draining spell just to kill everybody. I feel like everybody's going to be fine. I feel like there might be, like, a little damage here and there. Like, I'm pretty sure Ida losing her arm was a permanent thing, because, like, it completely disintegrated in Rain's hand during that scene. So, aside from that, I feel like maybe their magic will be weakened, and that what's going to happen is that Ida, and more likely Lilith, will have to teach everybody what Luz taught them in Season 2A, which is, like, how to use the glyph combos. Like, this is how witches used to use magic back in the day. So I feel like it's going to also mirror what Luz did in Season 2A. I also think that everybody, and I mean, like, everybody in the Boiling Isles, even, like, as obscure as, like, Tibbles, that one pig guy from, like, a few episodes in Season 1, and I believe 1 in Season 2, are just going to, like, team up against a common enemy, like the Collector, for example. And I think this because in the episode Any Sport in a Storm, Hunter said that the Coven heads betray each other all the time. It was when they, like, tricked Willow and the Grudgeby team to join the Emperor's Coven, and he was like, "Why are you backstabbing me?" And Hunter was like, "The Coven heads do it all the time." So that implies to me that the Coven heads are always at odds. So during the finale, it would make sense if all of them came together to stop one enemy, whether that's like Philip, or I guess Bellows, or the Collector, which is more likely because that's like destroying their realm at the moment. Also, in the finale, when the draining spell was active and they were all losing their powers, Terra said to Rain, "We're getting paradise, right?" And then when they nodded no, she actually started listening to Rain, including calling them Rain, which was showing that that she actually started listening to rain because instead of calling them Sprout, she instead called them Rain. And while we're on the topic of rain, I am pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure that Raida will be canon in Season 3, because all throughout Season 2, they have had great chemistry, as in, like, Ida Queen when they were playing their, like, song in that beautiful scene, by the way, as well as, like, other times in Follies at the Covenant Parade, where you could see that Rain was crying after he pretended to push Ida away, and always, like, looking out for each other. There was the flashback episode that showed they had really good chemistry from, like, a long time ago. So that kind of ship has a lot of build-up to make me think that it will definitely become canon. Now it's time for the final couple major theories, or predictions, I guess, of what will happen in Season 3. And these ones actually revolve around both King and a little bit of the Collector. So, first of all, I am almost certain, I don't want to say certain, because if I'm wrong, then it'll look bad when I look back on this video. The Titan Trappers from the Edge of the World episode, the ones that tried to kill King in that one scene? Yeah, those guys. I'm pretty sure they're going to come back, especially because they started to tell, I think it's Bill's words at the end, like he said, the Grand Huntsman will give me power or whatever, and then, I don't know the guy, but the guy that gave King the letter was like, I thought you said he was going to give all of us power. So I feel like that doubt is going to lead them to kind of like uprising against Bill / the Collector at some point. I also think they might save King as kind of like these anti-heroes where they don't want the Collector to have him, but they also don't want King to be alive. So that could be an interesting dynamic that comes up. As well as kind of a more out there prediction. I am not even close to certain about this one. But I do think that King will meet his dad. Because while his dad is the Titan, which is the Boiling Isles, I feel like they have another way of making him meet the Titan. Aside from just, like, obviously bringing the Titan back to life, which I'm pretty sure they won't do. But whether it's through, like, a dream, that, like, in-between realm where King was that one time, and Luz was that one time as well, or, like, even, like, a heroic sacrifice like they did at, like, a lot of anime, and even, like, at the end of Amphibia, you know how Anne sacrificed herself and then talked to the god which took the form of a cat? I feel like it could be a similar sort of dynamic, where King stops the Collector, and maybe even Bellows, and then he gets to talk to his dad, which, I don't know, sends him back. It's kind of a out there one, so I'm not 100% sure if it'll happen, but I am honestly a little certain that this will happen, because it was a very big plot point through Season 2A and a little bit of 2B before. Was it Edge of the World where they stopped, like, I want to meet my dad? Yeah, I think it was Edge of the World. And I get that they don't have much time to do this kind of stuff, but I feel like it's such an important topic for King that they kind of have to do, like, a little reunion type thing with his dad towards the end of the season. Or maybe even, like, one of the last couple scenes of... It could be, like, a... kind of like an epilogue thing where, I don't know, maybe... It sounds sad, but, like, if King died eventually, like thousands of years in the future, like, maybe he could reunite with his dad. Which also makes me think, speaking of future, King will honestly probably have a growth spurt at the end of the season where you see him as, like, this big giant Titan, and I say that because in, I think it was the season finale, it might have been the one before, where he was having, like, a concussion because his skull is cracking. When I first watched it, I thought it was just, like, he fell and he had a concussion, but it might be because he's, like, having a growth spurt and he's growing out of his skull, so he needs to, like, get rid of it and then become a giant Titan, which is kind of out there, but it could very well happen. And we have reached the end of our video, because that is all the predictions that I have for the Owl House Season 3. I'm sure as soon as I, like, finish editing this video, I'll think of, like, 10 more theories, so maybe there'll be a sequel video somewhere in the future, closer to when Season 3 actually comes out. But for right now, that is all. But before I end this video, I want to thank you all for the support on the last video. I made it in, like, 5 minutes on a screen recorder, so I appreciate that you all took time to watch it, even though it's very bad quality. I have many video ideas in the future, so stay tuned for that. You can check out my first channel if you want. Compared to this one, though, it's very different taste, so if you're here for the Owl House content, you probably won't like the first channel. But if you only like this channel, stay tuned, because I'm going to make more videos related to the Owl House. Maybe some other ones on other shows like Amphibia, or maybe even Gravity Falls, because I'm rewatching that right now. Maybe some real-life shows that are not, like, cartoons. But stay tuned anyway. Thank you all for watching, and bye!